Good afternoon and welcome to the Coastal Business Channel. I am Laura. Today we're talking about side hustles you can start today, right today. Get off the couch. Let's go. We're going to get some extra money, and this is how we're going to do it. Online tutoring and teaching. You want to utilize sites like Zoom and Google Meets where you can do it from home, or you can do in-person tutoring. But you can do tutoring. You have to get yourself out there, look to see who wants tutoring? So do you go on Craigslist? Do you look at Upwork? Do you talk to a teacher? Do you put yourself out there on Facebook? There are ways to get yourself out there and say, I can tutor, and these are the subjects I can tutor. And I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately because I've been tutoring my kids in Algebra 2, and it's been a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it. But they're my kids. How much more enjoyment would I get if it was another kid? Like, it'll be interesting. Also, it would be interesting to see that dynamic between, if you're not my child, so are you going to listen more? Are you going to do the homework more? Are you going to be like, no, I don't want to do that? I'd like to think that someone who's not my kid wouldn't be like, no, I don't want to do that. But we'll see. But you can utilize Zoom and Google Meets. I personally would prefer to tutor in person, especially when it's math. But maybe if you're doing another subject, like my daughter is learning Mandarin from a tutor, I think she Zooms with her sometimes. And I think that's fine. It's much more conversational versus having to sit down and go over a math problem. You can be a freelance writer or editor. If you have a talent in writing, and even if you write clearly, you just write clearly, or maybe you have a talent for teaching writing. You know, as a former tennis player, I recognize that there were people who were amazing tennis players, but not really good coaches. And then there were people that weren't amazing tennis players, but excellent coaches. So maybe you are great at teaching grammar and how to set up an essay, but you're not the world's best writer, or maybe you're lucky and you have both skills. But you can look at websites like Upwork, Freelancer, and Fiverr, Fiverr. They're great ways to find freelance writing jobs. So put yourself out there and see if you can get an opportunity to be a freelance writer. Virtual assistants comes up everywhere. Why? 99.7% of entities or people filing taxes are solo entrepreneurs. So there's people that have their own business. That's, 99.7 small businesses. So they a lot of times need assistance, but they don't need an assistant for 40 hours a day. Sorry, 40 hours a week. Sometimes it feels like it's a 40-hour day. This morning, gosh, it took me like 5 hours before I could get my work day started, because I just had to clean up and do laundry and find things for my kids, and oh, this one's sick and they have no shampoo. And it was like, gosh, every time I sat down to do work, I was getting pulled back up again. What did my husband need? I was like, really, you need me to go find that for you? Anyway, but a virtual assistant would be really helpful to kind of get my day going, get more smoothly. I don't have to do all the small tasks. I can focus on the bigger aspects of what my job is. Number 4 that you can do right now, pet sitting. Get yourself on care.com, Sittercity. There's also Rover and Bark Happy. So Rover and Bark Happy are specifically for, I didn't even know they existed, and we have dogs, but to help people with finding pet sitters and dog walkers. Number 5 is selling goods online. So Amazon, Etsy, you can start your own website. It's a lot of work to get going on Etsy, but it's fun, and it's easy to sign up. I do have a website. I have a video on how to start an Etsy shop, and I go much more in depth with Etsy and how to work it, mainly because I had a business that made hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. It took a lot of time to build it up. It probably let me rephrase. It probably took me about 6 months before I was making like $60,000, the average about $5,000 to $6,000 a month. Probably took me 6 months, and then to jump from there, it was probably like another 6 months. I did keep track in an Excel spreadsheet, and I would see myself steadily growing over time. But it was a lot of effort. It was a lot of effort on my part. I did a lot of behind the scenes homework to see what sold, what price points, all that kind of stuff. So, when you are starting a business, you need to do it intelligently. What products are selling. I did my research on Etsy to see what sold the most, what price points, what colors, what designs, all that kind of stuff. I realized I needed to put names on things. People wanted their names and monograms on items. So I was able to figure that out and do that too. So you do have to put homework into when you're going to be selling goods and services online. make sure the margin's there. Make sure the profit margin's there. I remember like the first thing I sold on Etsy, it took me like 3 hours to make, and I was making like $10 profit, and I was like, wow, like, God, how does anyone ever make money on Etsy? And then I gave myself some time and I figured it out. But you do have to do your homework to figure out how to make some money. The last one is delivery service. And to me, this would be kind of fun. I don't need a skill. I don't need to make it. I love my car. I enjoy driving, except when my back hurts. And I just think like, yeah, you go into Postmates or DoorDash and talking about delivery, you can deliver people. Uber or Lyft, obviously there's a little bit more risk involved with delivering people versus food. Instacart, deliver groceries. There's a lot of ways that you can make money as a side hustle right now. And especially when you do a lot of these jobs, you don't have to commit. Other than tutoring, where I feel like someone wants to commit to tutoring, they want to commit to a specific day and a specific time. Maybe you can have a little bit of flexibility in there. I remember I had a tutor that was that tutored my one son, and she kept changing the times. I couldn't deal with that because I had 3 other kids and I had other opportunities and time commitments that I couldn't have her switching, and I didn't want to leave her alone with a kid. So that was kind of creating issues, and I ended up having to just find another tutor. So tutoring is the only one where you're really locked into a day and a time. But when you're doing freelance work or virtual assistant, pet sitting, dog walking, you can always say no. Selling goods online, Etsy, no one cared when I made the stuff that I was selling online. You have to ship it, within I think I said like I'll ship it out within a week, but I had 7 days I could make this thing and sell and ship it out. Especially like with Amazon, you're selling goods, you set that time frame. Right? Obviously they want you to do it in 24 hours, but they don't say you have to do it by 1 p.m. right? 1 p.m. Tuesday, you have to ship this. That's going to be tutoring. And delivery service, yes, you have to, especially if you're doing Uber or Lyft, you have to do something at a specific time. But again, nobody says you have to take that job, right? So these are side hustles. You've got a job, you want to make some extra money, do these things. They're well known. Half the battle is getting up and signing up. I shouldn't even say getting up. You don't even have to get up now. You can stay in bed. You can do this at night. I think I started my YouTube channel. I looked into it at like 10 o'clock one night. I like couldn't sleep, and I was like, okay, usually I go to bed like at 8:30. I was like, let me figure out this YouTube thing. And that's how I've done a lot of research. YouTube, I do it at night when I'm trying to fall asleep to figure out how to do everything, and then I can get going the next day. But look into these. Look into like Zoom, Google Meets for tutoring, Upwork, Freelancer, Fiverr for freelance writing or editing. Upwork can be a lot of other things. Actually, if you're a handyman, so number 7, which isn't on this list, if you're a handyman, look for TaskRabbit. You can put yourself out there in TaskRabbit and say, these are the things I can do. I actually want to look into that because I have a couple little projects for someone. Maybe they could do that for me. I don't know. Selling stuff on Amazon and Etsy. And the last one, the delivery service, whether it's people, Uber, Lyft, or goods, Postmark, DoorDash, or groceries, Instacart. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and have a nice day.